Hi everyone, Nealay Patel here from SilverSilk and More, and it is my pleasure to bring you another fabulous Tuesday tutorial. This is going to be super exciting. I've got Brenda Schweder here, and let me just tell you about Brenda because I'm obsessed with this person. Brenda is a very talented wire artist, and you, my friend, have had quite the list of achievements under your belt. I mean, everything from contributing to craft magazines, beading magazines, wire magazines, authoring your own books, entrepreneurship, and designing your own tools now, and including Now That's a Hammer, which is what we're going to be using tonight. So Brenda, welcome to SilverSilk and the channel that SilverSilk is.
Thank you, my love. I have to laugh at you because it's like, if you start early enough in your career, you can do many things.
I don't know. I feel like it's a short, because I met you in 2012, I want to say, back in the day, when, Combach, we were in Bean and Button, I think it was, and it was regarding tools, if you remember the story, because we were sponsored tools. I had to pick my set up, and I was in such a state because my bag was lost by the airport that had my kits in it. Yeah. And I think I was like sort of venting to you, which I don't know, like you were trying to help me and stuff, and then it ended up you inviting me out to the Swarovski ambassador party that evening, and that was a lot of fun.
Hey, I needed a cute date, so.
Well, I was delighted to be your adorable date.
Yes, as you are.
Well, Brenda, tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're going to learn tonight, and maybe some about your Now That's a Hammer, because I'm intrigued with this product. It's a beautiful, like aesthetically pleasing and very like well-built hammer. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share to all the groups.
Okay, this is the time where I have to tell the story, right?
Yes.
All right. So my latest foray is a co-brand, which just means we work together, collaborated with Frets Design. So a lot of you might know about Frets, fretsdesign.com. They have beautiful, beautiful hammers. And I was lucky enough to be next to Bill a couple years at the Bead and Button Show. And with my booth at the time, now that's a jig. Like, which one was it? So we got to talking. I found these gorgeous antique hammers at a flea market, and I just had them out because I have them with me everywhere. And he said, what are these? And I said, I think we should make them, because what happens is, as you know, Nealay, on Facebook's, I'm using this beautiful hammer to be, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? And every once in a while, someone would report in and go, look what I found, on eBay or whatever. So I knew there would be a market for them. And originally they were done so that you could use them on steel, which is my wire metal of choice. But since then, we haven't been able to keep up with that because of the Chinese tariffs and blah, blah, blah. But they're still really, really cool. And there's a set of 3. If you're going to make one, why not make 3, right? So I do
like odd numbers, so that's pretty brilliant.
Right. So you have to go up 2 by 2, right? So we've got the riveting hammer, which is our number 1, the double crosspein, which is this number 2 hammer. And this hammer right here, which is the double ballpein, which this is my little favorite guy right here. A tiny, tiny little ballpein, which is so cute for like stippling, dimpling, whatever you want to ipple. So, and apparently I'm going to be teaching you how to do that today with our little tutorial here.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of our folks that are joining in. We've got Emily from Motorcrafts, excuse me. Tracy Allen says hello, and to you and I. We got Donna in here. We got Barbara Dillon. Hello, my friend. Man, so many people joining in. Natalie Moten is here as well. We got Lila and Gail, it looks like, joining in. We got Maggie or Mimi. So, and of course, Tammy Coker is in the house. So hello to all you ladies. Thank you so much for joining in. Well, this is going to be fun. I got to post a beautiful picture of your finished piece, which is a brooch. I believe, yes, you have it on the table. Super cute. I love the organic stuff that you did to not only the hammering, but just the way that you laid silver silk and wove it in there. So I'm really intrigued with that project and how you formed it. So you're going to walk us through how to do that. I have my stuff sitting out as well. And so while I figured that you could walk us through the brooch, maybe I can make some earrings, maybe a necklace or some other piece of jewelry to coordinate.
Sure. Awesome. Well, the thing about this is, and we call this, we've named it, here, what we've done is actually made a pattern. From my Now That's a Jig days, we made pattern templates for everything. And so what basically we just sort of like figured, well, why don't we make a pattern for us to be able to follow along? And we're calling it Metamorphose because it can be a brooch, it can be an earrings or a pendant, depending on what wire that you use to make it. So that is really cool. We're using, and you'll see right here, by the way, you guys can get this for free. I put it on Brenda Schweder Jewelry group page, not group, my business page for free, just to be able to download it. Well, actually, Sarah did that for me, my lovely Sarah, who's the assistant with the mostest. And yeah, so what I did is I chose, and I think Nealay, you had some of these in the kits, right? These are the beautiful stampings from Vintaj that we were able to grab. By the way, I didn't tell you this, surprise. There's just like seven little kits of these just to for $3 on my Etsy site, www.brendaschwederfound.etsy.com. Sorry, Nealay, I didn't tell you that. But there's just like 7.
That's okay, I'm posting it now.
Yeah, if you guys want to just grab those, there's only 7 left. I saved one for my friend Mary Burns because she did not, wasn't able to get one of your kits too. So if you're really interested in this particular design, grab one of those kits too, and I'll get it out to you. That way, it's like, I was just going to say it, and then but it's such a pain in the butt to get addresses and stuff, and you know, that postage can add up, right, Nealay?
Yeah, for sure. What was the name of that website again, one more time, Brenda?
www.brendaschweder.etsy.com.
.etsy.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I type it in correctly. Yeah. There we go.
So
make sure that they get to the right place.
Yeah. So I think a lot of your peeps have this bench block already, right? And so basically what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to use this double crosspein hammer here. And the difference is just the acuteness, not you cuteness, just I always like to flirt with Nealay as much as possible, as much as he'll let me.
It's true. I let her flirt with however she wants to. It's all welcome.
Right. And this one's a little more rounded here, but for this project, when we're going to be doing some texturing of these stampings, I'm just going to use this very acute one here. And just so you know too, on the #1 hammer, which is this one which is the riveting hammer, we've got kind of a medium angle in there. So we've got actually 3 choices for a crosspein hammer. Right in there. Also, if you guys want to know the numbers up here, if I ever refer to the number 2, they're right on the very top here. The other cool thing I should mention about these hammers before we actually get started is that the end aren't just pretty different shapes. These are actually hammering stakes, and I just did a Facebook Live last Thursday on actually using these to form, and I formed some bottle caps from just a bottle cap shape into a dome, and then sort of did
I saw those. I thought those were so clever.
That was so fun. I mean, you know, somebody who's like my friend Cheryl Darrow said, you know, you can solder those. I was like, well, that's not as labor intensive. So let's do the more labor intensive cold connected thing. So anyway,
sure.
So basically what we're going to be doing, these things are very similar to each other in that, maybe I should kind of get down a little bit further, huh, Nealay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do this with you while you're, so I'm gonna hammer this shape. This was in the kit, but it is similar to what you're using. And so I think it'll be fun to
get
do
down
that.
a little bit further. Well, I don't want to crash the hammer. Like
I know if my hammer hits the phone, it's game over, right?
Right. Yeah.
We'll have some very sad people on here.
So. Plan B, right, hon? So, so basically, what we're doing, and if you guys want to, if you're worried about ever bumping your hands, hammering your hands, you can just
good idea.
Yeah, a bent nose pliers, and that just kind of takes your hand, a hand's length away. This happens to be a Xuron if anyone is interested. This is the 450 BN. All of my shows are sponsored by Xuron. So, but each of these has basically, I'm going to be putting in what's called a midline on your leaf. And basically that's going to be what separates the body from the wings on the butterfly. So we're just going to be using this technique in two different ways, basically. So this is what I like to do first, is do that midline. And I'm just taking, again, this more acute angle on the number 2. And I'm just going to go down, stand up to do it, just the middle of this.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be really loud, right?
I know. I'm so sorry, my friends. How much do we do this? Do we
basically just sort of drawing a line, and as you'll see, it'll start having, and I don't know if you guys can see, probably not really well at this distance, but I'm kind of all over the map here, and that's all right. You'll get a little bit more focused on it this time. But then what I basically do is just continue to go with where I think, just kind of like feathering out. Let me show you a little bit closer here. Here we go.
Yeah, I think if you can hold up that one and then what you did oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just with what you did a second ago too.
Oh, yeah. So there we go. So see how I'm kind of all over the place.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't remember being that bad on this one. But so this one here that I've kind of got tucked back, but then on this leaf, I just did like an overall texturing, didn't I? Yeah, this is just an overall texturing of the number 2 with this a little stippling. So they're both done a little bit differently. Well, with the hammer, so but very easy. So now I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to go perpendicular to it and just kind of like move that leaf like that.
So how hard do you hit to make those inclusions?
Pretty hard. This isn't not like stamping where you just doing that 1 or 2 blows, but
yeah,
you're gonna move some metal here. That's what I always tell people is do not. This isn't.
So I've been afraid. I was kind of doing it a little bit. So I think I need to.
Yeah, we need to use your manly hands. Here. Hear that?
Yep.
And that's about it, to be able. Let me show you what I've got so far. There we go. And it doesn't look, when we further use the steel wall, which is what I use to kind of patina, I think you have one of the Vintaj blocks maybe, that'll further heighten that contrast between the gold and then the markings.
I see.
And that's really it. It's going to take in, if I could.
Sorry about that, guys. I was, we were saying we can't see anything, but I put us back in gallery mode. So we're going to continue to hammer. So there's plenty of hammering to be done here. So, but thank you for your patience, and we'll keep it at this view. It seems to work. Oh, look at that. So I need to do mine to catch up then. There we go. Okay, here we go.
How come I can't hear? Did you put yours on mute?
Do what?
You sound like.
I think. What was I sounding like?
It was just like you were hammering in the other room. I expected to hear a lot more.
Oh, I think that's the beauty of the phones and the devices that we're using. I guess it like takes away the loud noise, which is kind of nice.
There you go. All right.
So if my shape starts to turn, what do I do?
It's going to
kind of see that.
And to me, that's part of the beauty of it, is that you're actually forming a little bit. See, my leaf is doing that too. And we're only going to be using one side, the hammer on one side, or basically we'll just be sort of nullifying our texture, and it'll come out of the back. So yeah, and you can kind of work that as you to your advantage, just by how you're going to hold that as you're hammering, to sort of get more shaping.
To hold it, I'm sorry, what?
I was
having so much fun.
I know that you can actually hold and kind of like do this at the same time to get more shaping too. And the thing is that everything is going to kind of cup up as you're hammering. And that's just the nature of the beast when you're working with sheet. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Okay, let's see yours. Oh yeah, you've got that other leaf too.
I've got texture, yeah. I don't think I did the middle quite enough though.
Yeah, and I mean, did you do your steel wool yet?
No, I haven't. But I have the Vintaj block that I found.
So you can see the difference by this one's just sort of matte and dull, and then I polished this one up over here, and it's really gleaming off the light.
Oh, it really is. So okay, so if I have this block, which one do I use?
I would use whatever one feels roughest to you. That's basically a nail buffer, and so you don't, if you use the smoothest one, you're polishing instead of Yeah.
I see. I may go back and hammer a little bit more, because it's just never enough,
Yeah.
More is more. And I think my leaf is a lot bigger as well.
Yes, it is. And so you are going to
a little bit closer.
There you go. Beautiful. Yeah, nice.
Oh, but if I hit my phone.
We didn't think about that on our top-down view, did we?
We did not. So it looks like the more I work with it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
It adds much more detail. Cool. Well, I'm really loving this.
Yeah. It's cute. It's addictive,
It really is. It's a great way to take out a lot of aggression and So yeah, I could kind of see some of that texture coming out just from sanding it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you probably want to take your sanding block to the back too. Like I didn't do that here. I'm always cognizant of how things are going to look from the back, because as you know, people always pick up a piece of jewelry like, oh, it's beautiful, and then right away they turn it to the back. So everything has to be gorgeous all the way around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, Leanne is asking, can we still order the kits to make these? They sold, oh my gosh, the sanding itself just brought out so much more texture. Amazing. The kits sold out very, very quickly, like very quickly. So I guess I didn't have enough in stock, but I'm actually replenishing them and should have them back at the end of this week. So thank you, Leanne, for asking that question, because I know y'all want some kits. So they're coming to you. Just got to be a little patient.
Yep. We never know. I mean, should we?
I'm so intrigued. I've never really sanded or did anything. Like, I'm just so intrigued with this. This is so cool.
Well, it's because you're doing your hammering, and then like, oh, you not necessarily see all the marks that it's making until you do that sanding, and then everything just sort of comes to the surface and just shines. Like, here I am, even the smallest little mark.
It really does. I mean, this wasn't even actually, I think, a leaf before, but then just the way that you demonstrated how you hammered your leaf, it definitely made it more of a leaf.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued with that. Okay, so I have some more shapes then, and then you can talk us through the construction of your brooch, maybe?
Okay, great.
And how that works while I hammer some of this other stuff.
All right, get hammer in there, mister.
Yes.
I'm going to put this out over to the side, and I just kind of wanted to show everybody this guy here. We're going to put the hammering over. This particular finding, which looks like this or like this.
Ooh,
I made a couple of them, Nealay.
Yes,
like
indeed.
And what we did was we tried to show you the different views here on this, which again you can get for free right now. If there's anyone that's watching that actually owns Now That's a Jig, we did do a pattern template for the jig as well, and that's up on Etsy as well, on the link that Nealay did. So basically what we do is I have a 2-inch puck. This is from Now That's a Jig, but it's basically just something that you can form around that's 2 inches, right? So I went, Nealay was laughing yesterday during dress rehearsal. And so this is another thing that you could use before, if you want something that's a little bit bigger. You're going to just sort of like grab things from the pantry that you might be able to find that are somewhat similar, and just to can you use something that's smaller? Yes, you can. But it's totally up to you. I mean, it depends on how big you want your finding, right? So because I have this, I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to stick with, Nealay, did you see this funny thing that happened? This is the wire that I gave. And did you get my joke about it? It's called glad tone wire. Not gold tone, glad tone.
Glad tone.
Glad.
Well, I guess if it had to be a mistake, it might as well be a happy one, right?
Yes. I noticed that like on all of the glad tones. That way. So I'm just going to pull off about 16 inches of wire. And again, just sort of using, I'm going to get back down here. This, I did measure this out beforehand. But you can kind of see what I'm up to here is basically we just need sort of a round shape right here. And then we're going to be making these little bales, I guess, so that we can put things into them.
Oh, I love that. It's such a clever little piece to be able to make it custom And I guess like you could even put lobster claws on your charms so that you make it interchangeable.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. So if you wanted to wear this as like a pendant, that was my husband doing the windshield wiper in front of my. You have no respect at all for my.
Ooh, Natalie is asking what gauge wire did you use to make that?
Okay, so so for those of you who normally watch me and know that I do a lot in steel wire, I'm going to be talking non-ferrous gauges. So this is 18 gauge, 16 inches of 18 gauge, okay, of the glad.
16 inches of 18 gauge. Perfect.
Yeah, and that's on this little thing right here as well too, and also the steel measurements. So I'm just going to kind of just like form this around here. And you can, obviously you can do it with your hands. And it's going to kind of like get a little bit bigger as you go, but you can see it just with my hands, it really took on a beautiful shape here because we are working with dead soft wire. So, and you can kind of see right here. So basically, if you're using this as a pattern, guys, just kind of like just keep shaping it down to kind of make your shape, and then just kind of like you use your round nose pliers to make this shape over here, which is going to be our hook. I love how you can keep hammering and you're not even like.
Give us. Oh, I hit my phone there. Give us some feedback to make sure that like the hammering you're not hearing so much as Brenda talking.
Oh, yeah.
That's the content is important.
Yeah.
So if someone could chime in and I mean, I get there's also a 10-second delay to our video, but we'll get some feedback here soon, I'm sure.
Right, good. And so you can kind of see here that, and this is obviously not as having this jig, set up here. But if you're, the thing that's great about the jig is that you have, this specific, just sort of specific measurements and everything's going to be exactly the same. But you know what?
These are all. You're saying no hammer sounds.
No hammer sounds. Awesome.
No hammer sounds. So that's good.
So, these are one of a kind. If yours is a little bit different, hey, what the heck, right? So I'm just kind of like marking where I want to go with this and bring this around the biggest part of my round nose pliers. I'm just bringing it around as far as I can. And then I'm going to move my plier. Oops, and the pepper came back.
We have a question from my friend Tammy. First of all, aloha to Tammy. And she just got my 2-year anniversary kit and posted a picture of it. So thank you, Tammy, for doing that. And thank you. I'm glad that you got it too, first of all. So she is asking, where can one purchase this really great hammer?
Well, you can purchase them at fretsdesign.com.
Okay, I am going to post that link.
Also at autofry.com. So take your pick. Neither one has a sale right now. So. fretsdesign.com.
Is it fretsdesign.com? Perfect.
Yeah, no hammer. Found it. They have more than just that. Now you can kind of see here, if you guys are following along with me a little bit more, is that I've made this round. I use the very bottom of my round nose pliers. And so my loops here are going to be a little bit bigger, but that's all right too. So I'm just going to try to, mark here where I want the next one, kind of mark it, and then kind of come up in here, and then just keep continuing my loops until I make 5 of them. I'm so glad you're watching all the comments, Nealay. It's weird that I'm not having to do that.
So they're asking what about the scrubber, and I think what Leanne is talking about is the Vintaj block.
Yeah,
that you can get on vintaj.com, I believe, or steel wool. Brenda uses steel wool, and you can get that anywhere.
Yep. and I would suggest if they want, because steel wool comes in different, you know, I guess not thicknesses, but scrunchinesses.
I think it has different, like the mesh of it is finer, and I think the diameter of the wire is also like, the finer you go with the steel wool, the more it's like sandpaper, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we call it a grit just because it's sort of like sandpaper?
Ooh, that's a good word for it.
So yeah, so you have, it's a 00 grit. But again, you guys, if you have a 000 at home, that's fine. You know, I would just not use like a 2 or something, because you're gonna really make a mess. But so you can kind of see, I'm just kind of like, you know, working this along, and I'm just putting it back up, kind of marking it up against the pattern every once in a while until I get 5. I've got 4 already. They're not exactly the same, but right, they're pretty darn good. I'm surprised at myself.
Pretty accurate. I like it.
Yeah. And then the last one, I'm going to go all the way around, and this one's going to actually become our connector. I'm curious as to if anyone's making along with us. Do your peeps do that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I used to do alongs.
Some folks do. Some folks have grabbed the kit, and some have already received it. So hopefully they're hammering along with us in spirit.
Awesome. And so basically what I want to do here, guys, is that on the pattern, see these little cutters here. This is where we're going to want to cut. And I already did that cut on the little hook here, but I'm going to cut this right where it starts to overlap with itself. And if I can get in here a little quick, little.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So that basically what I can do is when I want to hammer this, it'll go flat. Does that make sense?
Right. And I'm going to see if I can pin your current video, oops, to it. So bear with me, guys, just for a second. Remove pin. Okay. So they should be able to see a closer view of your video that's happening.
Wow, aren't you fancy?
We do what we can.
Well, you can do more than I can do. We'll learn from each other.
Indeed.
Yeah. So this is basically how the you know, it sort of comes off. And you might be asking, so why did you make this part come out? Well, it's just so that everything is sort of out of the way, and it's easier to make all these loops here. If you wanted to,
dang, that didn't work. Okay.
And then go around, that's fine too. But basically what we're going to do is we're just going to then fold this whole part back over onto itself.
I feel like the pinning isn't as cool as it works on the phone. So we'll just stick with the gallery view.
Okay,
cool. So I'm also partly experimenting, you guys, because of my anniversary, you know, this event coming up, I'm still fairly new to Zoom. So I have Brenda on here as sort of an excuse to learn how to use it better.
Yeah.
Trial and error. So
tell me more about this anniversary thing that you're doing. That's
awesome. So my 2-year anniversary at SilverSilk is coming up, and that's on December 17th officially. So that's crazy how time just flies when you're running a business and having fun. But everyone was saying, you should do something. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll figure something out. So I ended up getting a kit together with it. So it's 10 different classes. 5 of them are bonus classes. Whoa. And then 5 of them I'm teaching throughout the day for a full week. So like 1 class a day. And then there's a bonus class in the evening time. And I've got a guest instructor with me to kind of do what we're doing.
Nice.
But this is all a private event, so people had to grab the kit and register in the group and everything. So sold out. All 140, 50, 150-ish of us are going to be there.
Wow.
And it'll be one
so you really
big fun event.
That. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So let's see some of the comments. Suzanne is saying, can you hold it up a bit closer? And I think you kind of did already. Yeah, so that's perfect. You've got your large loop, and then you went ahead and formed with your round nose pliers the 5 or 4 additional loops. And then you just trimmed off anything that was excessive to the end, right?
Right, exactly. So now what I'm going to do, if you're ready for this, is I'm just going to fold this back onto itself. This end loop becomes the connector over here. And then this loop is going to be the little slot that the hook feeds into. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to, I kind of just want to support this whole thing. I'm going to do it in two movements so I don't hurt my wrist. And then with this one here, if you guys are familiar, so everything that we basically made is flat, but now we're going to change the orientation of this last loop, which is pretty much just taking your bent nose pliers or any pliers that you have that you can hold with. You're basically using your hand as a vise. And I'm steadying the rest of these so that this twist is going to happen between these two pieces here. And actually, let's do it underneath so I'm not fighting with this piece of wire here. And I'm going to just change the orientation.
Okay.
Not hard at all, but it's just a little heady, you know? Like, what did you just do? So instead of being flat, it's perpendicular to it so that it will go onto here. I think a lot of beginner wire workers have you know, when they get into trouble, it's basically 9 times out of 10, it's about orientation, where something is fighting with something else.
I see. When you, are done with that, would you mind holding that up to the camera close to? Oh, and then it looks like you just opened it up and then inserted the larger wire, the round part of it through. Wow,
yeah, I
okay.
opened it up just like a jump ring and closed it back up. As a matter of fact, I didn't do a stellar job on that. So let me kind of close it back up a little bit. And what I wanted to show you too is that, so this is a really loose kind of connection here, which you might be fine with. If you thought you wanted to use something that's a little bit more stationary, you can definitely, here, let me get it the same, is just tighten that loop, right, onto that piece of wire here, and then you don't have anything.
It's just coiled tightly around there. Yes.
Yep.
Very clever.
So that's just another way to do it. Yeah.
Joan says, hi, Nealay and everyone. Hi, Joan. Made it home to see the part of the show. Barb says, congrats, Nealay, on you creating these classes and having them sell out. Thank you, Barb. I appreciate that. Wendy is asking, are your jigs still available for purchase? So I'll let you explain that one, Brenda.
Yes, I'm so sad. I'm like, I almost, was it Wendy that asked that? I'm so sad. They're on the sabbatical right now, and we're trying to find a new distributor and a new manufacturer. And I bet you I get a couple people every week like, where can I get this jig? I just don't know.
It's legendary, so it's got to come back at some point. Just with maybe a slight evolution as well.
That's we're hoping. So keep your fingers crossed. And if you know of any good manufacturers, let me know.
I will certainly keep you in my manufacturing thoughts.
We'll just be plain about it, right, Nealay? So,
exactly.
So here's a little bit of the trickier part of this right here is that we're gonna use this loop right here to form you know, this part that the hook is going to go into. And that is optional. Like if you didn't want to have this as a hook, there's another way to do it, but it's a little clunkier looking, but I think that this is really the easiest for us, is we're basically just, I have to think about this every time. I'm just going to open the back of this loop up, bring it a little bit farther to the back, and then it's just sort of like plops into there. And hooks.
Cool.
Here, if it does that. And here, actually what I did on this one, you can kind of see is, can you see that? Is I really opened that that loop up even more. Let's see if I can do that. Let me get a flat nose too here.
While you're doing that, I wanted to let our friends know that I went ahead and connected my little hammered charms that I'm so proud of, because
oh my gosh, how cute.
aren't those fun?
Yes.
And so the folks who got the kit can actually make these, because the jump rings and the charms and the double strand end caps, I think there's some earring hooks in there too, can make these on the fly. I'm so just blown away from the little like trick with the vintage block or steel wool.
Yeah.
I've never really known that, but that certainly changes the heck out of that texture. It really does make those inclusions it draws them back, while, you know, whatever's not been hammered, it pulls it up.
Yeah.
And so you really see that texture added with such depth. So I'm just intrigued by it.
Yeah, that antiquing look is it's so rich, you know, just gorgeous. So I have a confession to make. Is basically what I have done here is that you can kind of see that this loop is going down and this loop is up. So I would just basically change the orientation of that one as well before I would do any of the thing. It kind of works in here, especially if I make it does work, but you can also do it on top. So we can just do a little bit of finagling there. And then, because I'm looking at the time, Nealay, and I know we're at 45 minutes already.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, when we're doing our wire work, we always want to temper our wire so it stays in place, especially since we're working with dead soft wire, even though it's a little bit heftier of a gauge. And so we just need to do this to, you know, to hammer it to keep it in place.
Oh, you're right. It sounds like the hammering just went to a different room. That's so weird, and
Yeah.
in a great way.
So for those of you who are new to wire work, when you're going loop over loop, this part here where it's metal over metal, be a little bit more tenuous or gentle along that, because you can definitely you know, cut through. You basically have hard metal here and your hammer's hard metal, so something's got to give in between there. So you kind of want to be a little bit more gentle going over that part. And this went down.
So
also,
if you're, just out of curiosity,
yeah,
if it's in the mentioning of the hammering of wire, because you're work hardening it, but if you wanted to intentionally add in texture, is that possible?
Absolutely. Because we're working with craft wire, and this craft wire is a copper core, you want to be a little bit more careful with that, because basically you're texturing into a different color, right? So if it's all copper, you're going to probably see a little bit of the copper coming through. That might be an effect that you might like, but the texturing of wire on like a copper or bronze or, you know, silver, whatever, is going to is doable as well too, especially with the hammers. And I have done that before too. So pretty. Yeah.
Such a cool idea. I might hammer some wire next and see if I bet I can screw that up.
You're so silly. One word about this is has some nice spring to it already, because it's a nice hefty gauge. But if yours is not, you want to make sure to hammer this so that it's springing farther out. It's hammered farther out, so that when you bring it in, it's going to spring into that locked position a little bit more. So even though it's looking like you don't need to do that, and if you guys are having trouble with that, just hammer it into the more open position.
I see.
And this kind of, it's actually more of a fibula, isn't it, Nealay? This design is really meant, it's not going to be going through your silk blouse. It's going to be going through, you know, an open sweater, open weave, something or another. Before I put the silver silk on, I did do a little bit of filing here on the end, just with a needle file, just ever so slightly, just to kind of make it into a little bit more of a needle.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll definitely pierce through whatever material that you're wanting it to. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And so how this would work is that I showed how to do this connection, but you would want to load your silver silk onto this bottom part before you do, you know, you put it through here, obviously. That'll be one of the last things you do. And what I noticed was when I did this at first, I wasn't as happy with it. You can kind of see in the back, I just sort of looped a lot of different lengths just to kind of keep the variation. But it was filling the whole bottom, and I liked it more scrunched together. So when I put the leaves on, it automatically sort of kept everything more to the bottom. But depending on your design, you might want to just take and just do a little bit of binding where you want, you know, where you want to limit your
kind of where you want it to stop and be secured at. Yeah, that makes sense.
Those words. words, where are you? Yeah. So
try hammering the shape real quick. So, okay, if I were hammering wire, which I've never done before. So today's like all about experimental design for me too.
Yeah.
Just because I've never really, I mean, I've done a little bit, but not enough to call myself Brenda Schweder quite yet.
Next time. Nealay's always been a quick learner.
Okay. Keep an open mind. So this is cool. I'm seeing a lot of facets added to my wire already, and I'm using let's see, I'm using 18. No, I'm using 16 gauge, the same one you're using. So that's quite effective.
No, I was using 18. If you've got 16, yours is a little heftier.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Yeah, mine's definitely a little thicker, so it gives me more surface to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously,
that's so pretty.
If you're using this tiny little binding wire, like a 26 or something, there's not much to texture there. So for
sure.
And what you're seeing there, so you're texturing a wire that's already polished. So in order to get that antique look, you would need to patina that and then bring it back up. And so that's another thing that everyone's going to want to think about a little bit more.
I wonder if I would polishing it with my bench or my bench block, my Vintaj block, would that do anything to it? I gotta try that out and see.
Yeah, try it out. You know, again, you have that copper core in there. You might be getting interesting look there just because of the inside is different. But with the Vintaj components of these are already pre-patinaed, and that's where they've sort of done that.
I see. So you're taking some of that away. That's what makes it.
It's like a reverse antiquing, right? Because you've already got the patina on there. Yeah. And
I did not know that about their fabulous findings. I mean, their fabulous blanks. Yeah, because the block isn't doing anything at all to this, but it did such a such a difference to this.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah. Also, there might be a couple questions about craft wire. I mean, this stuff, and especially like this is glad tone, but you know, they might have part of the reason that they come in so many fabulous colors. That's hematite and blah blah blah. You know, there's fuchsia, blah blah blah. Is that these are enameled, and so they're really meant to be the color that they are already, instead of sort of changing the color. So what I'm trying to say is the enamel is going to be impervious to any kind of other sliver of sulfur patinas that you might want to add on to there. So if you really like that antique look, work with more natural metal wire, you know, like
And that's a great, yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point because Kristen from Softflex Wire was just asking, are you both using natural wire, I presume, or uncoated? And to your point, this is actually enameled wire.
Yeah.
It is parawire that we're using, which their enamel does not come off at all. That wire is going to stay what it is. So
yeah. And I'm sure the Softflex wire, as a matter of fact, thank you, Kristen. I just got my wire today and I was like looking at it. So
oh, I did too. I got there was the little thank you package for the instructors. I did too. Thank you, Kristen and the Softflex team. That was very sweet of you guys. Very, very sweet. And that wire will come in handy.
Hey, I know you two wanted to talk about, because remember I was saying, hey Nealay, I was going to use the end caps that you have in this kit for the by the way, this olive is just to die for, this color. But you had included these little end caps and I was trying to use them in my design, but it just wasn't working. So now I have just raw ends here of SilverSilk. What do I do?
So let me wheel over here real quick to my product wall because I wanted to show you, if I can grab a set here. I have a product, I'm going to point to this camera over here, called Terminators. I'm sorry, that's a little fuzzy. Terminators. Or I guess I could do this too. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And they're basically an end cap that doesn't have a loop at the top.
Yeah.
So that if you're wanting to just cap off your design without attaching anything or just to have a nice little tassel at the end. In fact, I think I have an example of where I used it. Let me see if I can, oh, it's right here.
I'm gonna definitely need those.
I made this tassel a while ago, so I just glued some SilverSilk capture chain inside of a little cap here, and then I put this little like tassel together at the end. So these are the small terminators. So
you know, I glue with the terminators too? Sorry, we're talking to each other. I'm so
sorry. No. That's a good question. So in any of my end caps that I've used tonight or that I have in the store, you don't need any special glue and you don't need any special tools. So no adhesives are required. What they have is a special tooth inside of them that grasp onto the ball chain. And basically once you've secured it and crimped it, it's not going to move.
Yeah.
Or be out of place.
That ball chain. That is just so, the glitter inside of that is just like gorgeous. Nice. So I tease people in saying, you know, that I'm the found object maker. So of course I have to make one of these and I'm going to do it. And I've just been like, today is like my sorry, you guys, I know we're not even through Thanksgiving, but a little Christmasness in here. I don't know where this came from because I'm not really that much of a Christmas person. But look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one and I'm going to put this goofy little stocking on here.
I love that.
And a Monopoly house, which is already pre-drilled. I'm going to like just wire these on there. And look at my Santa cupcake thing. Isn't he going to be cute on here? But Nealay, I need, what color SilverSilk should I have on the bottom?
You know what? Like I would almost use the olive, or I've got a brighter green one that I could send to you. I think that'll be a nice little pop.
No, you're not sending me anything. I'm buying it. Nope,
I'm sending you stuff.
Nah.
I like sending you stuff. You know, this is great because to me, it's just, you know how there's, and please do not take this the wrong way because I know it is very, very, it's supposed to be kitschy and kind of eclectic and cool and silly.
Yeah.
But you know how there's like ugly Christmas sweater contests and stuff like that. But I feel like with this brooch, it kind of has that same concept of just make it your own kitsch, you know?
It's the Christmas brooch. I love it.
Yes, this needs to be an event or a thing of like make your own Christmas brooch or.
Oh my God.
I love those.
So great. Yeah, can't you just see that with some silver silk on the bottom too? We could even pull out this light blue and just be just like really like in your face. So
Yeah.
I can't wait.
The colors.
Can't wait to get that, and I'll post that later on for you guys to see. But I was like, you know what? Some of these things that I find, and like, when am I ever going to use this? But I keep it anyway. It's like, and
I wouldn't even know where those mini socks would have come from. Like,
yeah,
it's
like Ken's, is this like a Ken doll sock or something? I have no idea. It's probably like a little tiny Christmas ornament, but I just had to show you that because I was like, that's my secret ingredient of the day.
Super adorable. Well, we have, let's see, I'm gonna scroll through questions to see if we got any other.
I mean, the only thing I didn't really get to is how you attach things, but I don't know. It's just using like 6 inches of 26 gauge. And I've just tried to use the same glad tone. Am I beating that to death?
I think, if you wouldn't mind showing how to attach it, at least one of them, could you show maybe how to attach one of them?
I will attach. How can I attach this? I'm going to attach the Monopoly house. Yes, go ahead and do that.
You can get part of your brooch done today. Think about it.
Yeah, right here. We're using this as a working section.
Ooh, okay, so there was this beautiful star. I'm like in a creative mood now, and I don't feel like going off camera or anything at this point. So yeah, I'm just gonna hang in there a little longer. But this star was included in the kit, and I just thought, because we just learned how to do this leaf.
Yeah.
With the little striations, but like I wonder if I can get them to go from the middle out so it looks like a little bursting star.
Yeah, you're just gonna switch your hammer up a little bit, right?
Yes. So okay, which hammer? I would probably want to use this one, right? This would be the number 2.
Yeah, like a linear one. You're just gonna use a crosspein. And anytime you use it, you want like a stipple or a dimple, you're gonna use the round. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be, so I don't want that. I just want the little like lines to kind of go outward. So, okay, we're gonna do this.
And while you're doing that, all I'm doing is in this other one, boy, it's like 2 demos in one, 2.
I know.
And so I'm just gonna hold this and I'm just going to kind of make a couple stitches and wire this little house onto here. Sometimes it's easier to just kind of like have your little pliers in here. And the first stitch, I pulled too hard.
Donna is asking, I need new clippers to cut my silver silk. What do you recommend?
Ooh.
That's a good question, Donna. And I am a huge fan of Zoran tools as well. And I actually use theirs. I don't have a set on me. I've been actually using a different pair from Lindstrom that I've had, but either or, Lindstrom or Zoran.
Are you using the heavy duty one because of the ball chain in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
So this is,
and for that, I probably would not use I think I've murdered these already, and some, like the Lindstrom gods are gonna like come after me because I've been using the wrong pair this whole time. But I know for whenever I'm using the machine to make the knitted wire, I do have a Zoran pair, have heavy duty cutters for that.
Yeah, this is a heavy duty one. It's the 2175. You can see I never use it at all. That's why it's so yeah. So yeah. So just to show you, I'm just basically taking some stitches. I'm holding this first one that I put in, and I just call each of these little loops a stitch to go through.
Could you do like a couple and then do it really close to the camera, just so we can get a really good look at it?
Oops, yeah, it would be nice if, there we go.
Perfect. Oh, okay, so we went through the loop and went through the Monopoly piece, the house,
Yeah,
back
somehow,
through.
like I said, it had this goofy, no, let me see if I can see where I'm coming at. This hole in the back of it already. I don't know if I was gonna put it on something before, but generally you don't get them. Oh, come on. This is the part where it's hard to do this on camera here. Ah, yay, coming up through here.
Okay, luckily we have a really forgiving audience.
Yes.
For some of this technical stuff.
Yeah.
More importantly, like, I love that everyone that stuck around during our video and is still sticking around, like, really supports the idea that we're just coming together to create. Maybe some of us are familiar with techniques, and for me, I wasn't really familiar with hammering, but I love that people are just like, you know, we're just doing stuff together.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
I'm so happy I taught you about hammering.
I am in love with these hammers. Like, first, I just want to like hang it on the wall because it is so beautiful. Like, I have a mid-century home, and these just speak to my heart.
Isn't that? I mean, I didn't expect that, and a lot of people say, "Oh, these are so sexy," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay, I'll take that." Yeah. So the ends, I'm just gonna, you know, like clip them, you guys, and leave them inside this little Monopoly house, and it's gonna be super, super cute. It's getting in there real close. I can even just kind of just do this with my finger a little bit, but I can get in there with the pliers as well. So there's my house is added.
Ooh. So you gotta add like a few more items, and then you have something to wear at your Christmas, whatever we can do this time of year with stuff happening.
Exactly. Yeah, I can wear it for myself, and you know what? In my family, that I'd be
I'm okay with that.
Appreciate that anyway.
So Jesse James Beads is doing a fabulous event called Destination North Pole, and it's coming up soon. And I'm presenting a project in it, but I'm also participating for the fact that I got a kit, and it's gonna last for like 3 weeks. It's like a huge thing that they do, so I'm pretty excited about it. But wow. I need to go shopping because I need to get pajamas, like cute ones, right, to wear to this virtual event. I gotta get like a matching mug, a matching champagne glass. Like, I'm getting all these different things. Maybe I might even make a brooch now that I know how to.
I know where you might borrow.
Yes. So I'm kind of excited about learning all this stuff. It just gets me jazzed up and in the mood to like create and, you know, just have this wonderful online community to spend time with.
Yeah, that's the fun part. I mean, it seems like we're just, what I love about Zoom is that it's like, I'm right here with you and everyone else, and we just have this little intimate gathering. That's so much fun.
We do. And we get to make so much stuff together. So I've got like a full set of jewelry now, and I just need to add some ear wires.
Look at everything you've made in like 2 seconds flat. Oh my God. And I just formed this brooch.
Well, you did a lot of wire work though. See, I was just hammering things tonight. So
well, the cool thing about hammering the stand that's like a really quick fix too. I mean, for those of us who like that instant gratification, that's it right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So
well,
cool.
Brenda, I love you to pieces. You are one of my favorite and dear friends, and we've come such a long way from where we met whenever I was frazzled and looking for my bag to here we are now with our respective businesses, and you know, even during some crazy world stuff going on right now, we're still finding a way to connect and to be together and to create. And for me, that's just so meaningful to me, and I just appreciate you so much. And I love using the hammers, of course. So props to you for having also a great product.
You have your own set of hammers.
I do. I'm going to treasure the heck out of them. They are so beautiful. I love them.
I wish I would have been ready with a screenshot. That would be great advertising.
I know, just like a little like, I had stuff with your jig, actually. I need to send those to you. I did a photo shoot for whenever I was trying to figure out what beads and bubbles was, and obviously SilverSilk came along, so I had to kind of tone that down. But I did a little photo shoot with your jig, and I was like holding it and stuff and giving it little kisses. So I have to do a redo with these hammers now.
If the jig comes back out of sabbatical, we'll have to.
Yeah, then I can bring those photos back out. Although I've probably grew up since then, so.
Don't grow up.
Okay, my love. Thank you so much for this class. I've learned so much, and I know all of our friends have. Vicky says she can see me in kitty cat pajamas, and that might happen. Lots of folks are saying thank you. Stress relief by hammering and getting all that frustration out. Absolutely. It was from Leanne. Kristen says they're beautiful hammers. So guys, you can pick up these hammers at Fret's Jewelry.
FretsDesign.com.
FretsDesign.com. Thank you, Brenda.
Or AutoFry is my new distributor. OTTOFREI.com. AutoFry.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I will have kits replenished hopefully by the end of this week. My little blanks are on order from Vintaj, and I'll package it with SilverSilk and all that good stuff. Maybe even throw in some wire this time. And where else can people find you, Brenda? Where can they follow you? Where do they find your videos?
You know what? I'm kind of a split personality lately. Always on Brenda Schweder Jewelry. I kind of overlap. That's like my Venn diagram where I intersect. For things that are jiggy or hammery, a lot of that. I also have Now That's a Hammer Facebook page, and but for my found object stuff, big on Instagram. So Brenda Schweder Jewelry on Instagram. My website right now is really, you'll get like this bad message, but any day now that'd be better.
Well, we will relay to all of our friends where they can find you and find more of your videos and follow your journey to whatever you do, because it's always going to be brilliant. It's always going to be fun, and you're always going to include everybody in with it. So I'm excited for the ride.
Oh, one more thing. Please sign up for my newsletter too. You can find that launch page on my Instagram and basically and Brenda Schweder Jewelry too. So I'd love it if you guys come follow my newsletter. It's a little blog.
It's a very great newsletter. Just the way that you write stuff and how you explain it. Like, I love to be inside of your head with that newsletter. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. So I definitely highly recommend it for everyone out there. All right, my friends, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I guess we will see you here on Facebook. This is my last. I just realized this is my last tutorial, so for the year. Of course, people who sign up for the events will see me at the events, but yeah. So I'll be back on probably mid-January for Tuesday tutorials, and then following on. Brenda, will you be a guest again?
Yes, please. This is so fun.
We're gonna slate you in. It's gonna be fun. All right, we love all of you. Mwah. Be safe and good night.